Chosen ones, stop. This is not a message you can come back to later. If you leave now, you will miss a moment that does not repeat, and something in you already knows that. Chosen ones, listen carefully. What I'm about to say is not ordinary, and it was never meant for everyone. This is urgent. It carries weight. Only those who are truly walking with God will feel the pull to stay. If you are not aligned, if you treat your spiritual path casually, these words will pass right through you, and that's fine. But if you are one of God's chosen ones, your presence here is not random. You did not stumble into this by chance. Heaven allowed this message to reach you at this exact moment. Not early, not late. Right now. The fact that you are still listening is already a sign that you sense something is unfolding, something that will affect what comes next. God has spoken clearly, and the instruction is firm. For the next 48 hours, you are to be completely silent. This silence is not symbolic. It is not optional. It is a divine warning and a form of divine protection. There is a reason you are being told to pause, to withdraw your voice, to stop explaining yourself, to stop reacting. A door is opening in this very moment, but so is a trap, and most people won't see the difference. If you stay until the end, you will understand exactly what God is shielding you from and what He is preparing you for. And there is one part of this instruction that almost everyone overlooks at first, but once you see it, you'll understand why these next 48 hours matter more than you think. God is stepping in now. There are moments when He speaks through action and moments when He speaks through restraint. Silence is one of His strongest instructions, especially for the chosen. When God calls you into silence, it is because He has taken control of the situation Himself. You are being asked to step back because your voice, your emotions, your reactions are no longer required in this phase. Chosen ones are different. You are spiritually sensitive. Your words carry weight, even when you don't realize it. Every time you speak from frustration, emotion, or the need to be understood, energy leaves you. Others may speak without consequence, but when a chosen one does, it creates ripples. Too much of your energy has been leaking into places it never belonged. Think about it. How often have you felt misunderstood lately? How strong has the urge been to explain your heart, defend your intentions, justify your path? That urge did not come from peace. It came from pressure. And God does not move through pressure. He moves through stillness, clarity, and authority. Silence restores all three. There is too much noise circling your destiny right now. Opinions, expectations, projections, assumptions, even well-meaning voices can become interference. If you listen to every voice, including your own anxious thoughts, you will miss His instruction. So, God removes the noise by calling you to be still. This silence is also about timing. Timing governs everything in the spiritual realm. Speaking too early can delay what is meant to be released. Many blessings are not withheld. They are exposed too soon. God is protecting what is still forming. Just as a seed remains hidden before it breaks the surface, some things in your life must remain unspoken until they can stand on their own. You are in transition, and transitions are dangerous seasons to talk too much. When you are between who you were and who God is shaping you to become, you are exposed. Silence becomes your covering. It shields unfinished plans, blocks premature opinions, and prevents emotional reactions from pulling you backward. God is also resetting your inner voice. Many chosen ones struggle not because God is silent, but because the mind is too loud. Replayed conversations, imagined outcomes, questioned decisions. Silence quiets the mind so the spirit can hear again. Silence is not weakness. Silence is discipline. Weak people speak to feel powerful. Chosen ones remain quiet because they already are. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, stop announcing your moves, authority returns. God is restoring your authority through silence. He is also fighting battles you were never meant to fight. Some conflicts dissolve when you stop feeding them. Some attacks lose power when ignored. Silence starves opposition. That is why God said, "Be completely silent, not selectively silent." This will feel uncomfortable at first. Silence exposes restlessness. It reveals attachment to validation and control. But stay with it. That discomfort is detox. God is removing emotional dependencies that no longer serve your calling. This silence is a test of trust. Can you trust God enough not to interfere? Can you believe He sees more than you do? When you stay silent, you are saying, "I trust you to handle this better than I ever could." That level of trust moves heaven. This instruction is temporary. Its impact is not. 48 hours may seem small, but obedience in a short window can shift entire seasons. Things are aligning behind the scenes. Conversations are happening without you. Doors are being adjusted. Outcomes are being decided. Your silence is your protection while God works. Do not fear it. Rest in it. Let it recalibrate you. This is not God pulling away. This is God drawing you closer away from noise, distraction, and emotional exhaustion. When God calls His chosen ones into silence, it is always because something greater is about to speak on their behalf. Stay with me. What comes next reveals the unseen battle and why this silence carries more power than you realize. Before we go any further, pause for a moment. This is not a random moment. If your spirit recognizes this truth, it's because something is being revealed to you right now. So stop. Take a quiet moment to become fully present. Before we continue, I'm asking you to do something that may appear simple, yet carries deep spiritual meaning, an act of agreement in your spirit. First, like this video. Let that tap be more than a habit. Let it be a declaration. I agree with what God is speaking over my life. Second, subscribe and stay connected not just to a channel, as we're aiming for 20,000 subscribers, but to a flow of messages heaven is sending to keep your spirit awake, aligned, and discerning. Third, take a moment to write 999 or 777 inches the comments, and share your city and nation. Let this be a quiet but powerful sign between you and the Lord. I am awake. My heart is open. I am ready to receive the truth you are revealing. And to those who feel led to support this ministry through your words, your prayers, or through the Super Thanks feature, know this. You are not simply giving. You are standing with us as a co-laborer, a partner in this divine assignment. Your support is not random. It is consent. It is your way of saying, "Lord, I trust your leading, and I align myself with your protection." Amen. Many of you have felt a quiet pull to withdraw. You didn't plan it. You didn't force it. You simply grew tired of talking, tired of explaining, tired of being constantly available. That wasn't avoidance. That was discernment waking up. God was preparing you for this long before you had language for it. Silence is where God recalibrates your inner senses. When you stop speaking, your spirit finally exhales. Your body softens, your thoughts slow. And suddenly, what was hidden becomes visible. Patterns surface, motives reveal themselves. Truth no longer needs to chase you. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord has made them both. That clarity does not come through conversation. It comes through watching. God is also drawing you into silence because some around you listen with the wrong intentions. Not everyone needs access to your thoughts, your wounds, or your next move. Many chosen ones were wounded not by enemies, but by oversharing sacred things with unguarded hands. Silence restores boundaries without conflict. It lets God quietly separate who is meant to walk with you from who was only meant to pass near you for a season. And hear this deeply. Silence does not mean your voice is gone. It means it is being refined. The Lord will perfect that which concerneth me. When this season passes, you will speak less, but every word will carry weight. You won't need to convince. You won't need to chase understanding. Your presence will say what language never could. This is why God is calling you into silence now. Not to shrink you, but to deepen you. Not to hide you, but to guard what He is forming within you. And this is where the unseen battle begins. Chosen one, there is a battle moving around you that does not announce itself. It does not arrive with noise or open conflict. Most of the time, it comes quietly, through pressure, irritation, confusion, and subtle emotional pulls. This kind of war drains you without leaving visible wounds. And that is exactly why God has called you into silence. Not every war is fought head-on. Some are won through restraint. Some are decided the moment you refuse to engage. The enemy does not need to destroy you. Distraction is enough. Reactivity is enough. Emotional exposure is enough. And words are one of the fastest ways to become exposed. Every time you speak without discernment, you reveal where you are still vulnerable. Every reaction shows what can still be triggered. Every explanation offered to those who already judged you gives them access to your inner world. Silence closes that door. This war is not always about people. Often it is about influence, about timing, about wearing you down slowly so that when the real opening appears, you are too tired to step through it. God sees this. That is why the instruction was clear. Be silent. Chosen ones are targeted, not because they are weak, but because they carry impact. Your peace disrupts agendas. Your clarity exposes lies. Your growth unsettles comfort zones. And when you cannot be stopped directly, you are provoked indirectly through misunderstanding, delay, and subtle disrespect, all designed to pull a reaction out of you. Silence is armor. It blocks access. When you do not react, you deny the enemy information. When you do not explain, you remove leverage. When you do not announce your plans, you prevent interference. Silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is dangerous to opposition. There are eyes on you, not because you seek attention, but because light is noticeable in dark places. And when light moves quietly, it becomes harder to track. God is asking you to go quiet because He is repositioning you without alerting what would resist the shift. This is also a battle of the mind. Doubt, overthinking, replaying conversations, imagining outcomes that never happened. That pressure is not random. Silence interrupts the cycle. When you stop speaking outwardly, the inner noise begins to settle, and in that stillness, order returns. You will keep Him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every feeling deserves a response. Not every situation requires your voice. Discernment is knowing when silence is the loudest answer. Some of you have been trying to explain your heart to people committed to misunderstanding you. That is warfare disguised as conversation. The more you talk, the more drained you feel. The quieter you become, the more grounded you feel. That is alignment. Revelation matures in silence. Calling deepens in stillness. Power consolidates when you stop broadcasting what God is forming. Silence is how He hides you in plain sight. You are still present, still aware, still moving, but no longer reacting, no longer feeding narratives that do not serve your future. This is strategic invisibility, and it is powerful. Some people only know how to engage you when you speak. When you go quiet, they lose direction. Silence removes their entry point. This war is also about authority. Authority does not come from volume. It comes from alignment. The more aligned you are, the less you need to prove. Silence says, "I know who I am." Choosing silence does not mean you are losing. It means you are winning quietly. Heaven does not need noise to move. God does not need your defense to fulfill His plan. When you step back, He steps forward. Some outcomes are decided the moment you choose restraint. Pressure lifts. Confusion clears. Peace returns. This is why silence feels both uncomfortable and powerful. Power challenges old habits. Let the urge to explain pass. That urge is not urgency, it is conditioning, and God is breaking it. You are not under attack because you are failing. You are being refined because you are advancing. This is not retreat, it is positioning. God is moving pieces you cannot see, closing mouths, opening doors, aligning outcomes that require no announcement. Stay silent, stay aware, stay grounded. This battle is already being handled, and what comes next will show you exactly what begins to happen when a chosen one fully obeys this silence and is transformed from the inside out. There are moments when the enemy does not rush to attack you, but pauses to study you, how you react under pressure, how quickly you explain yourself, how easily your emotions are stirred. Silence breaks that pattern completely. The moment you stop responding the way you always have, the strategy formed against you collapses. This is why silence feels like strength returning to your body. You are no longer emotionally available to every trigger. You are no longer predictable. And when predictability disappears, control disappears with it. God is breaking cycles that followed you for years, not through confrontation, but through restraint. Some of you have wondered why certain conversations never reach resolution, why explanations only create more confusion, why clarity seems to invite resistance. It is because those battles were never meant to be won with words. The moment you went quiet, heaven stepped in to speak for you. And heaven does not argue. Heaven answers with outcomes. Silence also protects you from exposure before its time. When God is lifting you, visibility can be dangerous too early. Not everyone celebrates growth. Not everyone supports change. Some watch quietly, waiting for an opening to interfere. God removes your voice for a season so He can move you safely without drawing unnecessary attention. A cleansing is also taking place in this silence. Old emotional attachments weaken, old habits lose their grip, old fears begin to starve. When you stop feeding them with words, they lose power. This is how God resets your inner world, gently, without force. He restores my soul. And here is what many do not expect. Silence is often God's answer to prayer. You asked for peace. You asked for clarity. You asked for direction. God answered by removing the noise. He answered by calling you to pause, to be still, to trust. The Lord will fight for you, and you shall hold your peace. This is why seasons of silence can feel lonely for chosen ones. But you are not abandoned. You are covered. God is closer in stillness than in chaos. nearer in quiet than in noise. If you listen, you will feel him steadying you from the inside out. This war does not require your anxiety. It requires your obedience. And obedience, in this moment, sounds like silence. What happens next when a chosen one truly obeys? It is where everything begins to shift. Chosen one. Obedience to silence rarely feels dramatic at first. There are no fireworks, no loud confirmations. What unfolds instead is quiet, deep, and unmistakably healing. The first shift happens in your mind. Thoughts slow. The inner noise loosens its grip. The constant urge to respond, to explain, to anticipate reactions begins to dissolve. This is where healing truly starts. In silence, your nervous system finally rests. Many chosen ones live on constant alert, sensing energy, reading between lines, carrying awareness others never notice. That sensitivity is a gift, but without rest it becomes heavy. Silence tells your mind it no longer has to scan for danger. Peace returns, not because everything is fixed, but because you have stopped carrying what was never assigned to you. Emotionally, something begins to untangle. You stop feeling responsible for how others perceive you. You stop absorbing emotions that do not belong to you. Silence creates boundaries without confrontation, and those boundaries bring relief. You start to see how much emotional labor was tied to over-explaining. As silence deepens, discernment sharpens. You notice patterns. You see who respects your limits and who grows uneasy when they lose access to you. You recognize who only stayed when you were explaining and who remains when you are quiet. God reveals truth without commentary. Silence makes intentions visible. Spiritually, your connection deepens not through effort, but through availability. When your mouth grows quiet, your spirit becomes alert. Subtle nudges sharpen. Inner warnings grow clearer. Peace becomes steady. Guidance begins to flow without force. You may notice problems resolving themselves. Tension loses momentum. Conflicts soften without discussion. Those who fed on reaction drift away. This is not loss. It is alignment. Silence removes fuel from dynamics that were never meant to continue. Confidence transforms next. When you stop talking, you stop seeking approval. You stop measuring how your words land. You begin to trust your presence. This is quiet confidence, and it cannot be shaken. It comes from alignment, not from being understood. Authority returns the same way. Authority does not explain itself. It does not negotiate worth. In silence, you step back into your rightful position. Even the body responds. Tension eases. Sleep improves. Breathing deepens. Silence calms the stress response. Your body senses safety. With safety comes clarity. Decisions feel lighter. Confusion fades. You stop forcing outcomes and begin trusting timing. Alignment starts to feel natural. Silence does not erase your voice, it refines it. When this season passes, you will speak with precision. Your words will carry weight. You will speak from revelation, not reaction. And even before circumstances change, you change. Lighter, clearer, more grounded, more yourself. This is not withdrawal. This is renewal. As silence continues, inner strength stabilizes. You are no longer pulled in every emotional direction. Old wounds lose their grip. You respond from awareness, not reflex. God is not only calming you, He is fortifying you. Memories may surface, old conversations, past disappointments, moments of feeling unseen. Do not resist this. Silence brings unresolved things into the light so they can finally release. Healing needs space, and space is what you have been given. Your sense of time shifts. Urgency fades. The pressure to rush dissolves. Silence reconnects you to divine timing. You stop forcing outcomes and start trusting process. This alone lifts a heavy mental weight. Intuition strengthens. You sense what is right without explanation. You feel when something is off without proof. This is discernment being refined. Relationships begin to realign. Some soften, others fade naturally. Silence becomes a filter. It reveals who honors your boundaries and who only valued your output. You stop performing emotionally, and everything changes. Even your prayers simplify. You stop repeating the same concerns. You trust that God has already heard you. Peace replaces repetition. Your body releases stored stress. Muscles soften. Breath slows. Silence allows the body to catch up with the spirit. Healing happens quietly, but it is real. Problems feel lighter. You gain distance without detachment. Present, but not consumed. This balance is rare, and it signals growth. Silence also rebuilds self-trust. You stop second-guessing. You stop seeking reassurance. You realize the wisdom you searched for has been forming within you all along. And something powerful happens. You stop leaking your future into the present. You stop speaking what is not ready. What is forming becomes protected, and protection allows blessings to mature fully. There will be moments when you want to speak, to explain, to correct, to release tension. Pause, breathe, let the moment pass. Each time you resist the urge, discipline strengthens, patience grows, and patience carries power. This training will outlast these hours. Obedience to silence does not make you smaller. It makes you deeper. It anchors you. It prepares you. God never calls his chosen ones into stillness without purpose. Something is healing. Something is forming. Something is being guarded. And when this season ends, you will not return as you were. You will return clearer, calmer, and more grounded than ever before. Chosen one, these next 48 hours are not ordinary time. They are sacred space. God is not asking you to disappear or neglect your life. He is asking you to move differently, slower, more intentional, with restraint and awareness. Silence without understanding can become confusion. So, receive this guidance clearly. Silence does not mean absence. You still show up where you are required. You honor your responsibilities. You live your life, but you do not volunteer your inner world. You do not explain your thoughts, emotions, or plans. You stop narrating your process. You let your presence speak without commentary. One of the most important things you must not do is explain yourself. The urge to explain often rises from fear of being misunderstood. But clarity does not always come through words. Sometimes it comes from letting others sit with their assumptions. If misunderstanding happens, let it happen. Truth does not need immediate defense. God will clarify what matters in his timing. Do not announce your plans or next steps. Even if you feel inspired or certain, silence protects what is still forming. Many blessings fail not from weakness, but from exposure. God keeps some things hidden until they are strong enough to stand on their own. Avoid emotional conversations. If dialogue pulls you back into old patterns, step away calmly. You do not owe access to your emotional energy. Silence conserves strength. Respond only when necessary, and keep responses grounded and brief. Do not engage in spiritual debates. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey. Debate drains energy and creates friction. Your peace is not negotiable. Let alignment speak for itself. Do not react to provocation. Some will sense your quiet and try to draw you out. Questions may come. Boundaries may be tested. Do not explain your silence. Silence is the boundary. Honor it, and strength grows. Now, what you must do: observe. Silence sharpens perception. When you stop talking, you start seeing. Notice who respects your boundaries and who becomes uneasy without access. Observation reveals what conversation conceals. Listen inwardly. Pay attention to thoughts, emotions, and physical signals. When triggered, pause. Breathe. Ask what is truly being touched. This is awareness, not self-judgment. God often speaks in subtle nudges that emerge only when noise fades. Pray quietly. Prayer is not always words. Sometimes it is surrender, sometimes gratitude, sometimes resting in God's presence without asking. Allow stillness without demand. Rest your nervous system. Reduce unnecessary stimulation. Step away from constant scrolling, endless messages, emotional content. Silence heals the body as well as the spirit. Protect your peace deliberately. Peace is guarded, not passive. If something disrupts it, step back without guilt. Silence is not loneliness. Stay connected spiritually. Read scripture quietly if it brings peace. Sit in stillness. Let God meet you beyond language. Practice emotional restraint. This is not suppression. It is refusing to let emotion lead action. Feelings may rise. Let them pass without expression. Emotions are messengers, not commanders. Do not seek reassurance. The urge to ask others if you are doing this right often comes from insecurity. These hours are about strengthening trust in God and in yourself. Sit with your knowing. Let confidence grow quietly. Do not replay old conversations. Mental rehearsals keep you tied to the past. Silence applies internally too. When the mind loops, breathe and return to the present. Be mindful online. Typed words carry energy. Avoid emotional posting or impulsive comments. Digital silence is as powerful as spoken silence. Listen to your body. Fatigue, restlessness, sudden calm, all are signals. Drink water. Rest when needed. Move gently. Do not rush clarity. Some answers arrive after obedience, not before. If uncertainty arises, allow it. Formation often feels unclear before it settles. If people reach out, respond simply if required. Kindness does not require overgiving. Silence removes excess, not compassion. Avoid major decisions unless necessary. Let things settle. What is meant to move will move without force. If silence feels difficult, do not judge yourself. Difficulty means old habits are breaking. Grace is part of obedience. Treat this time as sacred ground. Walk softly through it. God is working, and your silence makes room for that work to complete. Pair silence with patience. Do not expect instant clarity. Resistance to stillness is adjustment, not failure. Allow boredom or emptiness without filling it. God uses quiet to realign foundations. If strong emotions surface, sit with them. Breathe slowly. Remind yourself you are safe. Silence teaches the body and spirit that not every emotion requires action. Clarity may come in fragments. Trust that God is stitching them together while you remain still. Do not fill silence with busy distraction. Stillness is not laziness. Rest is not avoidance. It is restoration. These instructions are not restrictions, they are protection. God is not taking from you, He is preserving you. The quieter you become, the safer you are in His care. Honor this time. honor yourself. When these 48 hours pass, you will not need to explain what changed. You will feel it. Chosen one, hear this warning with calm seriousness. It is not spoken to frighten you or burden your heart. It is spoken because God cares too deeply about you to stay silent himself. When God gives a clear instruction, especially one as specific as silence, it is always tied to protection. Ignoring it does not remove God's love. It removes cover. And there is a difference. Obedience is not about reward or punishment. It is about alignment. When alignment is lost, friction increases. Things feel heavier. Confusion grows. Emotional fatigue returns. Not because God stepped away, but because you stepped outside the space where his peace was holding you steady. One of the first consequences of breaking silence is unnecessary conflict. Speaking, when God asked you to be quiet, pulls you back into draining conversations. You revive dynamics that were already losing power. You reopen doors God was quietly closing. Silence would have resolved them without effort. Another consequence is exhaustion. Silence was meant to give your nervous system relief. When you keep explaining, reacting, engaging, your body stays on alert. Stress builds, sleep shortens. The mind races again. The weight returns faster than you expect. Breaking silence can also delay clarity. God often releases understanding after obedience settles. Speaking too soon interrupts formation. You ask for answers before you are ready to carry them without distortion. God does not rush revelation. He releases it at the right weight, not the fastest moment. There is also the risk of premature exposure. When you talk about what God is still forming, you expose fragile beginnings to outside influence. Opinions enter. Doubt creeps in. Discouragement follows. Some things collapse not because they were wrong, but because they were revealed too early. Silence was guarding the seed. Another warning. Ignoring silence trains you to rely on your own voice instead of God's timing. You begin managing outcomes instead of trusting alignment. That habit leads to burnout. It places pressure on you that was never yours to carry. You may notice spiritual dullness. Discernment weakens as noise increases. Intuition becomes uncertain. Subtle warnings are missed. Not because God stopped speaking, but because the inner space became crowded again. Silence clears space. Noise fills it. Some delays you experienced were not because God said no, but because you spoke before he said now. Timing matters. Silence protects timing. There can also be relational strain. Words spoken from unrest often wound deeper than intended. Silence would have allowed emotions to settle before expression. Breaking it too soon can create damage that takes longer to heal. This instruction is also a test of trust. Resistance often reveals fear. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear of losing control. Fear of being forgotten. Silence gently exposes those fears so they can heal. Speaking too soon avoids the encounter, but leaves the fear intact. God is not watching to punish you. He is watching to protect you. His warnings are invitations to wisdom, not threats. If silence feels hard, ask yourself what you fear will happen if you stop speaking. That answer reveals what God is restoring. Ignoring this instruction does not end your journey. God is patient, but it can make the path heavier than it needs to be. Obedience lightens. Resistance weighs down. That is why God said completely silent, not partially. Partial obedience leaves partial exposure. Silence is the doorway, not the destination. It is never the end, it is the bridge. When divine guidance is repeatedly ignored, sensitivity dulls gradually. not as punishment, but as consequence. Just as muscles weaken without use, discernment weakens when impulse overrides instruction. Breaking silence can entangle you in outcomes God was already resolving. You begin carrying responsibility that belongs to heaven, and that weight shows up as anxiety and frustration. It can also weaken self-trust. When you ignore what you clearly sensed, confidence erodes. Not because you cannot hear God, but because you did not trust what you heard. Obedience strengthens inner trust. Disobedience weakens it. Peace may become harder to maintain. Even when nothing is outwardly wrong, something feels unsettled. That unrest is not condemnation. It is an inner signal calling you back into alignment. Silence would have recalibrated it naturally. There is also the risk of emotional overexposure. Speaking from unrest reveals parts of you that should have remained protected. Silence guards your boundaries without confrontation. Breaking it too soon can leave regret. Understand this clearly. God's instruction to be silent is often most critical when the urge to speak feels strongest. Urgency is not always divine. Sometimes it is anxiety wearing importance. Silence teaches you to tell the difference. Some chosen ones delay elevation by speaking when God asked them to wait, not because promotion is revoked, but because preparation was interrupted. Silence completes preparation. Without it, elevation feels unstable. If you find yourself justifying why you must speak, pause. Justification reveals resistance. Obedience needs no explanation, only willingness. God's instructions are not obstacles. They are shortcuts to peace. Ignoring them does not disqualify you, but it complicates what could have been simple. Take this warning as mercy. God speaks before damage, not after. If you have already broken silence, do not panic. Return to stillness. Grace allows correction without shame. God responds to humility faster than perfection. Silence is not about control. It is about trust. And trust is the foundation of every breakthrough God releases. Chosen one, what God is preparing after these 48 hours is not accidental. Silence is never the destination. It is preparation. God never asks his people to pause without purpose. What follows this stillness is intentional, measured, and aligned with the work he has been completing beneath the surface while you were quiet. The first thing you will notice is clarity, not forced answers or rushed conclusions, but a calm knowing that settles into your spirit. Decisions that once felt heavy begin to feel simple. You will sense what aligns and what does not, without overanalyzing. This clarity is not intellectual, it is spiritual. It comes from alignment, not effort. God is also restoring your voice, but in a new way. You will speak less, yet every word will carry weight. The need to over-explain fades. Authority returns quietly. When you speak after obedience, people listen differently, not because you demand attention, but because your words are rooted in peace. Emotional stability deepens. Triggers that once pulled you into reaction lose their grip. This is not numbness, it is regulation. God is strengthening your foundation so future responsibility does not overwhelm you. Relationships begin to shift. Some deepen naturally, others fade without conflict. Silence aligns, and alignment reveals truth. God is also opening doors quietly. Not every opportunity announces itself. Some arrive subtly, without pressure or urgency. When you are aligned, opportunities do not chase you. They find you. Increased responsibility follows as well. Chosen ones are entrusted with more as they mature. Silence builds the restraint, patience, and discernment required for what comes next. A quiet confidence settles in. You trust yourself more. You trust God more. Second-guessing fades. This confidence does not depend on approval. It comes from knowing you obeyed when it mattered. Discernment sharpens. You recognize manipulation faster. You sense alignment sooner. Silence has refined your perception. You may feel called to move differently, speak differently, respond differently. This is not a loss of who you are. It is refinement. God is not changing you. He is clarifying you. And with that comes peace that does not depend on circumstances. Peace that remains even while answers are still forming. After silence, movement often accelerates. What felt delayed begins to flow. Not because you pushed, but because resistance was removed. Purpose sharpens. Distractions lose their pull. Energy gathers instead of scattering. This is focus returning. Confirmation may come through a conversation, a scripture, a sudden insight. These confirmations follow obedience, not precede it. Silence prepared you to receive them without doubt. Understand this deeply. God is not only preparing outcomes, He is preparing you. Outcomes shift. Preparation remains. The version of you that emerges from this stillness is steadier, wiser, and more grounded. Do not rush back into noise. Carry the stillness forward. Let silence teach you when to speak and when to wait. God never wastes obedience. What you are stepping into has been waiting for you to become ready to receive it without losing yourself. And now, hear this from beyond the noise, from the place where truth is not argued but revealed. The pain you endured was not random. The collapse you survived was not failure. The pressure that nearly broke you was not meant to destroy you. It was evidence. Evidence that something powerful has been moving through you all along. Fire only tests what carries weight. Storms only rise where there is something worth shaping. Your suffering has been a divine signal, not of weakness, but of capacity. You were not dragged through the dark. You were led, marked, set apart, not for comfort, but for awakening, not to be soothed, but to be activated. Heaven does not polish empty vessels. It refines those chosen to carry more than they yet understand. This stillness you were given is not retreat, it is positioning. While you were quiet, forces were rearranged. While you released control, paths realigned. While you held your peace, something ancient and deliberate began to move on your behalf. What felt like waiting was instruction. What felt like loss was preparation. You are not behind. You are precisely where you must be. The pause was not punishment. It was precision. A narrow window where obedience carried unusual power. What looks small in time can shift entire seasons in the unseen. Do not doubt this moment. Do not minimize what you survived. Nothing meant for you has slipped past you while you stood still. Nothing assigned to you has been lost in the silence. You were being shielded while something larger took form. Carry this stillness with you now, not as fear, but as authority. Let it steady your thoughts. Let it anchor your emotions. Let it remind you that you are held, guided, and watched over by a design far greater than your understanding. You do not need to rush. You do not need to explain. You do not need to fight for what is already being arranged. The weight has shifted. The ground beneath you is changing, and this is not the end. This is the moment just before movement becomes visible, just before the next door opens, just before what has been forming in silence begins to speak for itself. Father, in the name of Jesus, I come into these next 48 hours with reverence and obedience. I surrender my voice, my reactions, my explanations, and my need to be understood. Cover me in holy restraint. Seal my lips from emotional warfare and protect me from speaking too soon. Let silence become my shield and my strength. Quiet the noise in my mind, calm the unrest in my body, and sharpen my discernment in the unseen. If a trap is opening, expose it without me touching it. If a door is forming, guard it until it is ready to stand. Teach me to trust your timing more than my urgency. Fight what I cannot fight. Close mouths that rise against me. Remove every distraction meant to drain me. Let peace return like a river, and let clarity settle like light. I agree with your instruction. I align with your protection. I will be still, and I will watch you move. Amen. What if the very thing you've been desperate to explain is the exact door God is trying to close for your protection? If you haven't done so yet, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because every message released here carries a word designed to awaken, heal, and strengthen your soul. As we're moving toward 20,000 subscribers, your connection helps ensure these messages continue reaching the hearts God is preparing right now. Take a moment to go to the comments and write 999 or 777. And also, share your city and where you're listening from. Let this be a quiet declaration of agreement and openness to what God is doing in this season. And to those who feel led to support this ministry through your prayers, your encouragement, or by using the Super Thanks feature, thank you. Your generosity truly matters, and it helps this word travel far beyond what any of us could do alone. Amen.